This is the On the Real portion of Pictures Up, where we delve in a little bit deeper on a personal level.
All right, so I was raised in northern Minnesota, St. Cloud, Minnesota. I'm 62 years old, and I have lived other places. I've lived internationally, lived in Thailand for a year, Colombia, South America for a year. I feel like I've left, the country. I feel now like I'm part of the world rather than just part of Minnesota, you know? But having before, I felt like I was very, like my world was just so small. And then you walk away from that and you feel like, oh my goodness, I was so shallow and so I only knew this much. And then you just start traveling and seeing the world and being with more people. But anyway, my point is, this day and age, I feel like people have thin skin. I feel like you just scratch the surface and it's just like anger and rage and, it's like, you're driving and people are honking and like, everyone has a bad day. Everyone screws up. Just be forgiving, right? But anyway.
But no, I think it is important what you said, that you have lived abroad. That's why it was so important for me to let my children, take my children on travel when they were young so they can get a broader perspective. Otherwise, there are a lot of people who are just right here and that's all they've ever seen, or right in the Midwest. So I believe it opens your mind so that you see other things. Yeah.
But I happen to love people. Everyone. I love people. I mean, there's just, I don't know, I used to visit prisoners. They've done all kinds of terrible things, but I still loved them, and they're people that are far different from me. I really, so anyway, I'm going to just sound strange, but anyway, so back to this topic that I really wanted to ask about. I wanted to ask a black woman about blackface. So when this whole thing came on TV and blacks were incredibly offended by somebody dressing up as blackface, and I don't even know the whole history. I just know Al Jolson back in the day. I thought he was a black guy. I didn't know. Okay, so then he was a white guy and put black makeup on and then sang like Mammy or something, right? Okay, well, I didn't think anything of it. Good, bad, indifferent, I don't know. I didn't think anything. So then, I don't know, people were dressing up Halloween. If somebody went as like Michael Jackson on Halloween, would that, if a white person dressed up as Michael, would you be offended by that?
Well, that's a complicated question. With the whole Michael Jackson thing, that's a whole different thing because that's
he's a celebrity. I mean, everybody wanted to be like Michael Jackson, right? I remember there were a lot of Halloween, white gloves and white socks back in the day. People were dressing up like that.
Yeah, and I guess, in terms of, the people dressing up as Michael Jackson, I don't have a problem with, but there are some issues that have been in recent media about Michael Jackson, so that's kind of a touchy subject. But in terms of just having on like sparkly socks and just I don't really have but if they if they put on blackface and then it could be offensive. I could see how it could be offensive to a lot of people, but when you dress up as with the hat and the sparkly gloves and all that kind of stuff, people like to dance and stuff, so I never have a problem with that.
Here's one that I would take great offense in, is if someone dressed up in like a Ku Klux Klan thing. I mean, for like Halloween or whatever. I would think that was in horrible taste. Dressing up as another black person, I'm just trying to think if I think that's in bad taste, because I innocently just would go, I don't know.
Well, no, I think the people get upset because the reason being is because the person who has on blackface really has no idea of the history behind it and stuff, and to just put that, and some people do it some people intentionally do it, to be
In bad
offensive.
taste.
You
Oh,
know,
well, then that
like
would be a whole nother thing.
right. So, like for example, in that that movie I just showed you, at Dear White People, there was a party where the people were had on blackface and at a Halloween party, and it's like okay, so now you're dressing up as a black person as a Halloween costume, and there's no connection between the history of what's going on and just putting on this black face, because people have this internal hurt about what
That's a
happened in
good
this
way to put
country,
it.
and so when a person shows up like that, then it can be offensive.
And I think that goes over my head because I don't have that hurt. I feel defensive being as a white person. Oftentimes I'm embarrassed to be a white person. Or even American. As you travel abroad, you're like, oh, don't tell me.
Well, tell me about why. No,
Well,
I
because
won't tell that part.
we're obnoxious, we're rude, and as Americans, oftentimes we are. But
as a white person, why do you feel embarrassed? I mean,
because of how we've treated Native Americans, how we treated Black. I mean, I could cry seriously right now. I seriously am embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
Dear.
It's like, and I just it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess when I was 10 years old, I was brought up in an area where there were really no Black people. I mean, this was northern Minnesota, where I wasn't raised, with Black people, and I wasn't raised in a household that we really talked about any, yay, nay, everything's fine. Anyway, I went roller skating one time, and I was probably about 12 years old, and there was some, once in a while boys would have fights. So, there was a big fight outside, so we all put our roller skates on and went outside, and it was a Black kid and a white kid fighting, and there were more white kids ganging up on this Black kid, and I was so mad. I was so angry about that. I can remember it to this day, feeling so defensive of that kid, that was getting beat up. So I think it's an internal thing. I don't think it was taught to me. It was just, that love thing that I have for people. And so anyway, yeah.
Well, I think that being aware of it is very helpful as a Black person. I would say that because a lot of people are just, they're not aware of the things that happen to Black people. I mean, and even contemporary, and also one thing that really bugs me is that, and I have experienced that, when people assume that you're stupid because you're Black, and it's like
Unbelievable.
and so just different things like that. And when people are not aware of this, and they will, there's a lot of things that happen that are just nobody's aware of. Like if this person gets this job, that you really deserved, and but they
pulled over by police, because I've heard of that too. Recently, I've talked to another Black woman. She said, "Oh yeah, it happens all the time. I get pulled over." Like, you're kidding me.
But it's the
I
thing
haven't
is,
been pulled over in years. I mean, why is there that in this day and age? But as I was saying, we've spent some time in Atlanta and southern states. You still feel some of that. You really feel it. It creeps me out big time. Wow. I'm glad then that I'm a northerner, because I can't even imagine, I try to think of what it would be like if, slavery were in my heritage. I don't know of any of that happening, but what would I have been like, and I just want to hope and think that I would have compassion, and I don't know. It's terrible. I think slavery is terrible. That it's just, I am so sorry on the behalf of my race. I'm just really sorry.
Oh, thank you so much. And I like I say, it is helpful that people are aware, but it's the people who are not aware. It's the people who think you are getting something over them. You know, when they don't understand that, like, generational, say for example, generational wealth, they don't understand that, you know, well, you know, my dad didn't get this job, but your dad did. And my, you know, and then over time you had more money becoming, and that to pass it down to your family. And so those things, you know, make a difference. And it's like when you're blindsided and you're not looking at that part, you know, it's hurtful. And
But if it's any consolation, I've had no money handed down to me from generations.
Okay.
So,
Right.
My mom did not have any. So anyway.
Right. And I've heard, you know, white people say that to me before, and it may not be a big boatload of money, but it's you know, being able to walk and be free, basically, you know, to be free. And the things that you know, maybe you got a job, or maybe, you know, I mean, there's, you know,
That's another whole topic as to how we're born. You know, beautiful. You are beautiful.
Oh,
You
thank
have
you.
had
So are
an
you.
edge over, you know, your other black sisters probably, and I've had an edge over my white sisters just because of how we're born. But anyway, that's probably in the next topic.
Yeah, this is great. I'm like,
I love these intentional conversations.
so
All right.
Lauren's worked with John Candy and some
Oh,
other
wow.
people too.
When I was in LA. Yeah.
Fun. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm surprised I've never met you. Are you with
Oh.
agency?
Just signed on to agency, but for years I've been with Wayman and Karen's.
I was with Karen for a while, but I never really.
I've gotten quite a bit from Karen.
Really?
Yeah, some good ones. So, well, your hair grew back nice.
Oh yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is some extensions too. I was bald for a year, so now I love having hair.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
simple pleasures of having hair.
I know, and eyebrows. You know.
Right. I know. How alien do you? Yeah, we better get
Yep,
going.
yep.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Lauren Kincaid, and I'm an actress. I've done writing and producing and directing as well, but primarily an actress.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Deborah Dowd. I've done commercial acting for almost 20 years in the Minneapolis area.
So Lauren, how did you get into the business?
Well, when I was 19 years old, I went to California with no acting experience. And I was out there for 4 years acting. I had an agent. I was in an improv group. I was in a theater group, but I was poor. So I moved here to go back to college, raised my girls, and got back into acting and all the stuff about three or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deb?
Right. And let's see, I've been in it for almost 20 years. Yeah, started out with absolutely no experience whatsoever, but each door just kept opening for me. And you just gain more confidence each time, and taking classes really is a huge part of what you can put on your resume in the beginning. You have nothing on a resume, right? So taking classes and learning the business, just getting yourself in the door and just around other people, like-minded people, is huge.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of training have you had, Lauren?
Well, training is very important, and I think that it should always be ongoing, because just as we grow as an adult and we're always learning new things, that's the same, I feel, with acting, that you can always bring more within it. So I have done Dudley Riggs, all 4 improv levels. I'm currently in the 3rd level at Huge, because I also believe in improv. Improv helps an actor be relaxed and react spontaneously more, I believe. Oh, okay. Yep, I've taken just about all of them. Audition, commercial, TV, film, I've taken teleprompting and ear prompter just recently, which was awesome. And always improv and also scene study continue.
I know, I asked that too.
Did you? Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, it's rolling.
Oh, it's rolling.
It's free flow.
Rolling,
Free flow.
baby. Yeah, so I really believe that with Valerie and Pictures Up, you can definitely advance your career. Valerie is very detail oriented. She's immersed herself in the entertainment industry. And there's a lot of things to learn that aren't necessarily acting. And like you said, Deb, a lot of it is confidence. And your confidence continues to grow and grow. So you can do things now. I can do things now that I would be terrified to do when I first got back into it. Because I'm comfortable, it's familiar. When I go to an audition, I can bring so much more to the audition than I did before. I mean, if you would see 2 clips of me, which I don't have, but I wish I did, what I do now because of confidence and a calm, then it's invaluable. The more you learn, the more people you know, the broader you cast your net. It's just wonderful things happen in an exciting industry too.
Get some training. Pictures Up will offer you a well-rounded, balanced look at movement and behind the scenes, what goes on, and also in front of the camera. But it's also important to know what goes on behind and then who to connect with. Connections is huge in this industry, knowing people. And Pictures Up, Valerie Rose at Pictures Up has been involved in a lot of movies, a lot of TV, a lot of commercial acting. So she helped me. She was gracious enough to meet with me, and I learned a lot from her. So I totally recommend Pictures Up.